Alrighty. There we go. What's up, Oozin? How's it going, man? On time. Wow. Even early. Look at you. Over a minute early. This guy's a beast. You're having a good night. Not doing too bad myself. Boom. There we go. Boom. Need to put that little thing closer. So is life, though. I woke up at 8 a.m. thinking it was 8 p.m. That's how my day's been. That's a day. That's definitely one way to start the day, you know? I wouldn't say ideal, but it's a way to start. Get my camera up just too much. There we go. You went all the way to Mars and back. Cryo chamber kept you too long. Good times, though. Yeah, so I worked on this a little bit earlier today. It's not 100%. I'm still figuring it out, but I like this better than the triple one, so I'm gonna match this. I just really like this, honestly. This is the... Do I even have any of them? No. The mosaic wall frame thing. Did I use those anywhere else? I guess I was using those on stream here yesterday. But I really liked it, so I multiplied it more. And then eventually I think I want to put something in there. I just don't know what yet. And I'd love if this was a metal circle, so I could make it look more like a sewer drain or storm drain of some kind. Because it ain't... I don't love the wood, but it is what it is. So now we have to fix this side. And then after we fix this side, I think we're going to start on the castle tonight. We definitely won't, build any of the castle, I don't think. But I'll at least get the terraforming and stuff started. That's going to be the slower part, I think. So, we just got to get some of this cleaned up. Pick up the window there. Mostly just want to get this part kind of out of the way. And then we're good to go. I want one more of these. Other than that, I placed, what are these things? They're like the hollow halls. Actually, these ones are the... Oh my god, I can't remember what these are called. One of them's the hollow halls set. These are the fossil showcase. Overcomplicating it. But yeah, play some of those, kind of figuring out how I want to do it, if I like them just sort of placed. I'm trying making them maybe a little more built in, because the coloring is just a hair too light for me. I'd much rather these be this dark brown or the conifer wood brown. I like that better, but it's more of the palm wood brown. So, kind of thinking of ways to maybe get them more included in the build, I think is part of it too. They're not just a bunch of stands sitting around. Kind of like the idea of building them in. It's not perfect. I can also raise them up and down. The hard part about what I have to do is essentially everything I've done has to be undone and then redone, because you have to place the weapons first, from my experience. At least that is how I'm doing it, because it's really difficult to get them to be even on both sides. If you just throw them in, you definitely can, but oh, that's what it is. You can't put the weapon in the weapon mount. That's what it was. Yeah. So you have to place them down first, put the weapon in it, and then put the fossil showcase thing over it. It's a little bit of a tedious project. So I kind of threw in a couple. I think these are good examples of what it will look like, and then I'm just kind of messing with. I was doing this. I don't really like that. The color's too different. But messing with things, figuring out how I want to do it. This is roughly how they'll be laid out, though. I think that is currently the plan, and then I have no clue how I want to do the weapon mount up here. It just looks funky, so I haven't figured that one out yet. We'll see. It's going to be an interesting one for sure. There's enough stands here to fit like a decent amount of the weapons. I'm not sure if I'm going to show all of the weapons. Kind of like, technically I'd never show all of them because there's so many like really low tier like scrap weapons and stuff. So like I'm only really showing off the cool ones anyways. So I don't know. Maybe I just make a design out of this thing anyways. Just do something a little more interesting above this, and then not put weapons in it, because so far I haven't put a weapon mount, and they just feel, the scale feels off. I think they have to be like really small, and then it just doesn't feel right in the room yet. So I'll keep messing with it. I like these little additions. I tested out this little table trick where you sink them into the ground. That looks really cool. It's very fitting with the silver and the black and everything. So I'm like, deal. Actually matches the blue as well of those. So I really like that piece. It's just little details here and there now. Other than that, it's really close to done. I might try to do a couple more of these things, like maybe on those upper walls or something. I really like the look of it. It's really cool little like trick with those. It's just 4 of them. It makes it it's really easy to do. I might use this detail on the outside of this building as well, as I'm working through some changes. So that'll be, I might jump into that a little tonight, just like clearing out some stuff as well, because it's a mess up there. By changing the roof and stuff, I really kind of screwed up the front entrance, which I already wanted to change anyway. So I think it's a good thing, but just gotta send it now. Is that right? Yeah. And then one of these. And none of those. Get rid of this. We don't need no decay here. We can get rid of all this stuff. Maybe? Yeah. I definitely wanted this to be a little more like a subtle detail as well. I think is part of why I'm not liking this like triple look. The triple circle look, at least, is what I'm saying. It's just like too much. The main point of it is that you see a little of it, so it draws your eye into here, but I don't want it to give away too much. Even this is feeling like just a hair too much. It may just barely be escaping. If it is kind of what I'm thinking, potentially. It's definitely a balance. It's really easy to like overdo it and make just a weird tentacle takeover thing. Very easy to overdo it, I think. But that's why we fiddle with things. It all is trial and error. Let's see. And just like that, get all this lined up. Center it best as I can. It's your favorite song? It is. I literally just thought about that as I heard the bells. It does drive me a bit insane. Just like I feel like every playlist has like one song that's just like, really? That's on here? Ooh, cool, I love it. Yeah, sure. What's up, Luderav? How's it going, man? Yeah, this is I hate that build. It wasn't as bad, Uzin, until you pointed it out. Now it drives me insane. I lived in my blissful ignorance, and you're over here just ruining everything. Half the time, the music's not even loud enough for me to notice that kind of stuff, and you're out here just blowing my mind. I'm hoping to get your, haven't broken any PCs lately. Hey, how's the camera look? You be the judge. You let me know. Compare it to one of the old VODs and let me know if it looks better or not. Pretty sure it looks better. Seems way less fuzzy. It's like, it's still not an amazing. It's. I say I got it for free. It still was a decently expensive webcam, but is not made for content creation in any way, shape, or form. It was purely made as a way to. It was from my wife's old company, and they just used it for conference calls and stuff, and they don't really care. But I do feel like it looks better. Orange sherbet ice cream is good. Looks good on my end. I'll take it. It definitely looks better than it did. So it's like, hey, you know, it was a pain to reset everything, but it also works. Now I don't have to worry about like frying my computer by having too many USBs plugged in. And I just plugged them into a different power strip too that I have for my work computer. So it actually worked out pretty well. I just have to manually turn them on like a peasant now. Ugh. Lame. That was faster than I thought it was going to be. You like the detail, Lude? I think I'm going to bring this design into the exterior of the building. I really like the way this looks, so I think I'm going to keep figuring out ways to mess with it on a larger scale. You were helping. I don't know what happened, man, but normally my wife would be very frustrated with me after a session like that, because just everything going wrong, I would have been really annoying for a couple hours. But since I messed with the web camera while we were doing the filming, like when we took the break between part 1 and part 2, and I was like, it just looks different. Oh no, it's gonna look weird. I'm like, it doesn't really matter. But I'm like, wait a second, it actually looks better for some reason. So I left the whole situation like knowing I had already somehow made the stream better. So it's like I wasn't too frustrated. But I still don't understand why everything breaks every time we get together. That is the thing I'm just baffled by. These connecting? Yeah. Do you like the design on the door coming in off the crypt? Yeah. Like, I was doing 3, it was just too much. If this was not wood, I think it would be perfect. Like, any metal, I think, would look good. Like silver or gray metal. The wood's fine, but with the grate and stuff, it almost looks sort of like I was kind of thinking of it as like an airflow mechanism, or like sewage, sort of. Kind of looks like a sewer entrance. Not that a sewer entrance would be off the ground, but I was thinking maybe like moving airflow through it or something was a way when the doors are shut, even though there's no doors on it right at the moment. So I'm having some fun with it. The story's starting to come together, you know, little by little. We're getting there. It's always a process. Yeah, ventilation shaft. It's obviously, right? Everywhere needs a ventilation shaft. And then it just happens to be that the ventilation shaft is what leads to their demise. I think I need to rip. It's one thing. Actually, since it moves, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Thinking I need to like rip out some of this ceiling part just so it looks like it's going through there. At least that would look cool. I don't have to, but. And then we like rubble it up. Maybe these are all going to like little holes or something. It's looking 6 all around. GG's for real. Let's go. Loot approves. That's all that matters. I'm just loving the like endless customization. It's pretty freaking ridiculous. Even like this, like, what other game can you just actively ruin your own base because you want to? Too good. Yeah, and then like right there, it's perfect. Terrain. I mean, that's literally the altar right there. It's perfect. You can't think these things up, man. Sometimes stuff like this happens and you literally you didn't mean to do it at all. And it just works. Happy little accident, as Mr. Bob Ross would say. Fall to my death. Careful. Perfect. Go 2 overboard. That probably looks good. On the fly works the best. It definitely allows for the most creativity. Jump from. Oh, jeez. Sketchy. Still have a little work to do down here. I really like this little detail that they got going on here. So I'm gonna thin my bridges out and sort of just replicate this in my own stuff just so it fits better. Other than that, let's see. Oh no, I erased them. Can't really tell, but you can kind of tell the ceiling's ripped open. It's fine. I think if I make a different color up there, it would contrast just a little better. But it's been fun. It's good. It's coming together. Can't tell. This one looks pretty good. Maybe this is a little overkill. Wrong. There we go. Bad thing about on the fly, when you hit that creative wall block, you hit it full force, dude. That is so true. So freaking true. That's why I like... So, like, last stream, it was just me and Grim and Face and Joe. And we were just like... I think I ran around jumping in circles for, like, an hour. Just, like, staring at it, like, answering questions and, like, just shooting the shit. Just talking design and stuff. But I was just doing, like, laps around this build. Just like, what do I do? What am I gonna do? In my head. Oh, yeah, totally. Like, answering questions, talking, and I'm just like, I am stumped. I had no clue what I wanted to do. What's up? Got stream on while playing Dead Island DLCs for the hell of it. Sounds good. Welcome in, Dylan. How's it going? You watched most of that stream? Yeah, I was like, I got nothing done. I just, like... I went way too ham with this side, and then was like, now what do I do? I don't like it. Oh no. But we're close. We're almost done. The armory is, of course, as always, I'm gonna treat some of this stuff, like I'm gonna put all the weapons and all the mounts and stuff that I have shown right now, like Just gonna do it all off stream. It's so tedious and boring, and like I have to focus really hard to get things lined up the way I want, or else it's like gonna drive me nuts. Like I already don't like that the wands aren't they're like sticking through. So like I'll have to go fix things like that, and it's just I'm gonna be staring at the screen like this all night. So I'll do that on a non-stream night, and then I've been messing with little details here and there. I was saying it to Uzin. Hanging out first day off. Got 8 inches of snow. Yeah, we have about the same. It's been fun. I love the snow. It's been cold though. It's like 5 degrees this morning. It was chilly. But I'm just going to keep adding little details here and there as I see fit, and just keep messing with things, because that's sort of all I can do off stream right now other than planning more builds, and I want to keep decorating little bits and pieces here and there, and I'm just going to do that stuff as I see fit. If I get inspired, I'm just going to throw some details down. It's like I want a lot more decor items. It's just like, I don't know, a bag or random stuff like sitting in corners, and those little things will just kind of pop in as I'm like, oh, that'd be a cool idea for that. But other than that, I mean, we got all this laid out properly finally. I think these are both looking good. I might mess with the luminous growth stuff coming out of it. I'm kind of leaning towards this a little bit more. It's a little more free-formed, whereas this is maybe a little just like tentacle, 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 tentacle. It's a little too repetitive and not as random as this one. This one feels a little more natural. But I'll keep messing with them as I go. Question: on the walls going up the first set of stairs from lava level, what about some sort of crest wall design? First set of stairs from lava? So like this? Like, are you saying here or here? Middle or sides? Or like there? Upper? And are you saying like the new crests that they added, since another chandelier coming soon? What are you talking about? Look at these great chandeliers. Look what I did. All me, baby. Chandeliers. Actually, I'll show you the chandelier in a second. There is already a chandelier. And then are you talking about these wall crest things? Left and right? Yeah, I wasn't really sure. It was sort of like I wanted to figure out a design for this that might tie into this some way, but I haven't figured it out yet. And then are you literally saying like these wall crests, or are you saying like dig something into the wall? Boom. I think I want to use these somewhere. They're pretty cool. Don't want it to be like overkill. Something like that, I'm guessing. Make your own crest from the kingdom like inlaid into the wall. Yeah, I had a feeling you were being all fancy like. I don't know. I think I need a bigger wall. I'll have to design something too, I guess, would be the fun thing to do. I think I need more space. I don't know. It doesn't feel like I'd have that much room to do like a pixel sort of art thing of some kind. But they do need something. I don't have an idea of like what the emblem would be, is the hard part. Be cool to put something in there too. One of these is best. 6? Snap to the middle. Please. Something like that's cool too. Pixel art would work, yeah. Rip NPCs, what I do. If I can come up with like a pixel art design, I definitely will. But I got nothing right now. Empty crickets going on in my brain. I saw, if you haven't, wonder if I can link it. I feel really bad for this person in general. So if you go to the base design showcase, that might work. That's just a base design showcase in the Enshrouded Discord. This dude has one of the coolest, like, pixel art. I don't even know what you want to call it. Just like detailing, like he's working at such a massive scale. He's like literally carved like this, but everywhere. Like huge scale carvings in these walls, and they look insane. And then he somehow like lost a couple 100 hours worth of his save or something, and so he's just like so disheartened right now that he can't even bring himself to play the game, which I fully understand, but it is freaking epic. Like, it's such a freaking cool base. And if you play Enshrouded, you should definitely be a part of that Discord, because it's a great place. There's a few goobers on it, like every Discord. Yeah, it was painful. I looked at it and I was like, dude, this is epic. And then I started reading and I'm like, oh my gosh, my heart goes out to the guy. It's painful. Just to lose like so much effort, so much work. Really sad. It'd be like me pretty much losing losing the entire armory and the crafting area. Yeah, his walls are nuts. It's such a cool build. These aren't even close to the same. I like this one better. Yeah, it's such an epic base. I had to give him a morale boost and tell him how cool his builds were, because he needs to keep building. As it is literally amazing. Makes me go, wow. What's up, Josue? Josue, how's it going? You're doing good, and thank you. We're definitely getting there. Oh, and Dylan, you said a chandelier. Yeah. Here's your chandelier. You and Ludarev. Ready? Boom. Chandelier. It is a light hung from a ceiling. So, no big deal. I don't think a chandelier really works in this room, unless I did something crazy hanging down, but I kind of like the lighted ceiling effect as the main source, so yeah, I'm surprised he didn't just uninstall the game and never play again, because that is absolute pain. That is why everyone back up your saves. I don't care if you got cloud saves, I don't care if you got anything. Back up your saves. It ain't worth it. All you have to do is copy and paste some files. Because I almost lost my entire grounded world at one point. That was just after I had done a huge portion of the sandcastle base, and I was losing it. I just started doing content and I my computer essentially imploded. It's not a good time. 0 out of 10, do not recommend. So just back up those saves. That's all I'll say. Okay, what else do we need? Because seriously, his build is freaking insane too. The amount of time it takes to do that kind of carving is insane. That's not up to snuff for me on a chandelier. It's what you get. There's no room for a chandelier. It needs to be in the middle, and it's not. Doesn't make any sense in here. I literally made. Who needs a chandelier when your freaking ceiling is a light? The whole ceiling is a chandelier. Huh? How do you like that? You didn't think of it that way. I'm just out here breaking the game. Changing the way y'all think. You didn't even know. I did lose my grounded. Literally had a wrap around from the bottom halfway up the tree base build, and for some reason it was just gone. Nothing I could do, so I gave up. That's so disappointing. So disappointing. I'm so lucky that I didn't end up losing it. And it was like my computer was imploding, and it literally, it wouldn't work anymore. Like I could not get it to start, and then it's just randomly started, and I like saved everything, downloaded everything, like made cloud saves of anything I could, and then it like literally just died. It's actually why I've never made a Subnautica base tours, because the old computer died with my base. And I had totally forgot that that was something I wanted to show off. Quite disappointing. Take your own advice, build bigger. I mean, I am building big. It's just, this is just one room. Can't tell me that when you add all the rooms up, it's not huge, okay? It's big. This is just one part of a city. You know, there's lots of room, okay? We're going big, all right? We're going big. I just don't have necessarily that big. Back made a healthy snack. Egg rolls. Are egg rolls healthy? I guess it depends on how you cook them. Because if they're like deep fried, then they're like kind of healthy. Got to give you a slack. Just give me a little crap here and there. I know. Push me a little bit. I don't want to get lazy. This definitely needs some work. There's parts of it I really like, and there's parts of it I really don't like. But hopefully we get grounded too, because I said, okay, I give up. Yeah, I don't blame you. It's never a fun time. Oop, wrong thing. Clicking on things, hold on. Not enough square footage. Your basement needs a basement. My basement has a basement. You've been rolled. I got him. Check this. You got your main entry. You got your upstairs, side rooms. You got your back room. You got your basement. And you got your basement's basement. And if you really want to get into it, I could just take this door out if I wanted to. And then you have like a back room to your basement. So, take that. What you got now, boy? Ain't got nothing on me. I got basementception going on in my base. But I'm quite happy with it so far. It's looking pretty cool. Been a bit. What's up, Unicycle? How's it going? It has been a little bit. Good to see you. Good to see you. That's the NPC jail. It kind of is. I don't know what's worse, because down there it's like catacombs and crypts and stuff. So like it's horrifying. But like here, there's just rock hell. Just a square of hell. They can literally see outside right there. They can see the light. They can see it coming through. But they'll never be free. The exhibit of basements. Alright, let's get to removing this stuff. Yeah, I kind of had a feeling this was going to be a absolute pain. Because I erased so much. But, you know, that's life. What do you think you're doing next? A little bit of reworking this front entrance. I kind of just want to delete it and not delete it, but delete these center portions. Get rid of some more of the white, highly polished stone. I really only want it like maybe up towards the top. And then after I erase some stuff so I have more of a blank slate to work out, I kind of want to do a little bit of terraforming as well. Would be the goal. Luminous growth wrapping around a homemade chandelier in the crypt. That would do it. That'd actually be pretty sick. See, now you're selling me. That room has enough room to do a chandelier. What's up, Nix? I'm having a great night so far. Hope you're doing good as well. No, I've been gone for a while. The stray cat hasn't been tamed. What? 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 Yeah, so after we do a little bit of cleanup on this and getting rid of some stuff I don't like, because currently I don't even know what I want to do because I just feel like I'm looking at something that I don't like. But then I kind of want to maybe get like a rough, because this is going to be like a floating island essentially. So I want to see like how big of a space I'm going to need. Because I don't really feel like I can like design the castle until I kind of have like a rough idea of how much space I'm going to have. If I go too big, it's going to look kind of weird. So it's got to be a very like well-proportioned size. Did you say egg rolls? Gorging on sushi tomorrow. Ooh, that sounds good. Top left what? I'm gonna lurk. Y'all have a good night. Have a good stream, Timber. Thank you. Thank you. Enjoy the lurkening. I also need to get the luminous growth all like ripping up the side there. The egg roll dynasty, yeah. Those were times. Those were definitely times. The anarchy was real. I'm a lurker in the shadows I have returned, then find me. The holy hand grenade. What's up, knife? How's it going, man? Oh no. Nice. What? Oh, it's supposed to be granite? Yeah. Sure. Stray cat quest? Oh, find a stray cat. That's what he's talking about. Wait, did he said top left? That's why I'm so confused. Yeah, you literally said still have a stray cat. But on the top left, that's what threw me off, is I just started looking to the top left. I didn't even think of the quest because it's on the right. This but a scratch? What? What? Oh no. Let's just erase it. Get rid of it all. What did I pick up? What? Did I get the... Really? That's what you're gonna pick up? The one on the other side? What a rip. Your other left? You meant top right? Sure. Sure. Monty Python, have you not seen his amazing work? Yes, I've seen his amazing work. Throw it 3. Not 2. Not 1, for that is far too short. We are the knights that say nee. Dude, that was like... I've seen that so many times because that was my dad's, like... He freaking loved Monty Python. So that is... I've seen it quite a few times. I haven't seen it in a while, though, because my wife doesn't like it. She just thinks it's dumb. She wouldn't understand. She doesn't even know, man. Killer Rabbit, Bridge, the Black Knight. I love the Black Knight. It's just a flesh wound. I'll bite your legs off. Come here. Give it to me. Rude. Okay, well, I guess we're flying away now. Your right arm is missing. Oh, have you tried integrating statues into pillars or gnomes? Integrating statues into pillars. I haven't done that, but I did have a precedent image somewhere. No, it's what is it? I was watching the, what do I want to call it? Beauty and the Beast with my wife. Dang it. Closed it. Hold on. I was watching Beauty and the Beast with my wife a couple weeks back, and there's a scene in there that they have a like statue in this castle that's like part of a column, and I was like, hey, that looks really sick. I should do something like that. It's funny you bring it up. I kind of forgot about it because it's a picture on my phone. Dog's getting the zoomies. Nice. Can't comprehend the greatness. It's true though. I don't blame her. I guess it's her upbringing, you know. Really? See, I guess I'll put it this way. What person doesn't like Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but does like Austin Powers? Because, like, in my mind, they're, like, pretty equal footing in terms of, like, it's just raunchy, stupid humor. What? So, like, I if you like Austin Powers, I feel like Monty Python's, like, right up your alley, you know? But maybe that's just me. I don't know. But yeah, I was actually thinking of some statues potentially with it. I just haven't found a good spot for it, honestly. But because here I was doing the statues like in these areas, so I don't know. It's hard to say. You think the toilet was alive in Beauty and the Beast? I mean, probably. Gave my cat kitty gonch. Just remembered I'm currently working on making a base on the oak tree in Grounded. Nice. Keep wondering if I can make a pillar with the big Cyclops trophy stand. I mean, the key is just getting them placed, right? I don't think it's that hard. See? This is just all I have, so bear with me. I think the hard part is like the statues currently are too big. I like how massive they are, but I need a slightly smaller scale option. Even the new one could be half the size, I think. Yeah, the only struggle is getting them, like, placed, because you can't see anything. But, I mean, definitely could. Just, like, how much do you want to struggle through? And then finding a way to make it look good is the other struggle. Haven't seen Austin Powers. I've only seen Monty Python. You should definitely... I like Monty Python, but can't stand Austin Powers. Interesting. Interesting. I would be happy to watch both. No complaints. One after the other. You like Master of Disguise? That was my brother's favorite movie growing up. He'd listen to it over and over and over again. Endless. Why do you want to scream, Unicycle? There's always a reason. Everything happens for a reason. So there's got to be something behind that rage. have to play with it. Yeah, it's pretty easy, I think. The issue is scale-wise. It is difficult. I'm not quite building big enough to do some of that stuff. Like, I like that Grounded had a lot more statue sizes. I'm hoping that they continue to just add more cool random statues and stuff. I guess the other side of it, oops, is you can just make your own statues at the same time. Like, make your own carvings, I guess, is a better way. Or, where is it? It's all, I mean, someone did like a horse. They carved a horse out of the terrain, so technically you could do anything with enough effort. So far, there's very little limitations in this game that I have found. Those. No, it's 8:30 and I live in an apartment. I want to scream. Thing is, my neighbors will think I'm getting murdered, call the cops, and I have to do paperwork. I think I'll have to try using statues like that for the gate entrance to my city center. That'd probably be a good place to do it. I don't know how I'm doing the gates yet, so that's my struggle. Get stinking ice. Perfect, yep. Exactly where I wanted that. Oh, there's a roof. I was like, what block did I just erase? Why is one of those connecting and the other not? There's a lot of things, honestly, that I need to mess with still. Like, hard to know what you can and can't do. So you just do things. Like, there's another person on the Enshrouded base design showcase thing that has built like trebuchets and like massive arrow launchers, like all sorts of craziness. It's pretty insane. There's some really interesting stuff out there that people have been messing with that I think's real cool. I can't see anything. Too dark. Dang it. Oh, is that why? No, I'm using granite. I don't know. I say you are a good replacement for crazy. But a flesh wound. Wrong one. Sometimes the contrast in lighting is painful. I can't replace the first president. Yeah, well, he made up the president thing and then was essentially implementing so much craziness that there was a coup and then everyone voted someone else in as president. He couldn't be controlled. So he was banished. And then that president fell off the face of the earth. I don't know where Jeremy is. I see him every once in a while, but he's got his own life and family and stuff, so is life. gosh, let's keep it all the same. The little floor thing. Boop. Here we go. First person, baby. Hopefully that didn't mess with anything inside. Hopefully. That needed? Hopefully not. I'm the fourth. Wish someday I could be president. We just gotta get voted in. By a jury of your peers. Leg? Hello? Maybe keep trying. I have to figure out, like, a reason for the whole thing. That's kind of the struggle. Is like, what's the point of the presidency? What are we offering with it? Got some thinking to do. When will I be mod timber? Good question. I don't know. You're VIP. All right, don't get too greedy, mister. I think when I have a more, like, a larger need. But at the moment, I don't really need more mods, so feels wasteful to go through the process. But I don't really know. Not too many random things I'm thinking about these days. Line it up, line it up. That? No. I wish snap mode snapped to decor. That would be nice. Not just the blocks themselves. So close, but so far. Pretty close. Pretty close. So I was going to use bronze for the capstones, but it just doesn't seem right. So going to do the polished granite. That'll work. The bronze is very, like, you have to use it selectively. Like, even here, I don't really love. It's not bad, but it has, like, when it's used correctly, it's really good. And then you can kind of easily overdo it. It's a very contrasty block. Last time I played Grounded, I got raided by wasps. I went back in time to prevent it, and now I can't stop hearing the Grounded raid sound effect. I turned off raids because of those wasps. Jerks. The worst. Can't stand those things. This? Could raise it all 1, 2, I don't know. Get off the ice. Worst part about using ice. Just slide all over the place. Was worth a try. Yeah, the snap is interesting at times, for sure. What the? Thanks, ad blocker. I didn't ask for you to do anything. Let's see how. Yeah. Too scared to go back in Wasp Hive. I have a fear of wasps? Oh, then you need to go. Face that head on, man. Guess I could just do... Like, this is a really small scale, though. Let's see. Or we make it... God, get off the ice. Struggle, man. We create a much larger scale. This might be the way to go. Okay. Can't do anything on this ice. Just sliding every time I try to place something. Come on now. Yeah. I mean, I'm not saying no knife. I'm just saying I don't know is all. You know? You know? That's definitely more the color palette. I actually really like this with this block. I really liked these columns. I just was like, they stand out too much against the white. But that looks much more interesting. Because like my long-term goal, well, what am I doing? Is to build a castle that is darker on the bottom and sort of transitions lighter as you go. So I want it to have maybe highlights of white, and then with these like darker recessed portions is sort of like the main focal points at the lower portions, because there's going to be this like luminous growth all over it. And the white and the luminous growth, I already know, just they're not the right color combo. So I need to keep the bottom of the castle darker and use more of these granite blocks. And then as I keep going, then it'll taper to white. I'm not really sure how that's going to work yet, though. We'll see. We'll see. Want to kill the queen, but then I have to beat the game to go to New Game Plus. You don't have to do anything, Unicycle. You can just beat it to beat it. With the actual mosaic pieces on the exterior with the statue in front of it be too much? It's a lot. Have you seen the mosaics? They are like... Bam. They're like in your face. I tried using them down in this area. I guess I didn't have this like center divider when I did it, but it's like they're colorful. Very, very colorful when you get them all placed. The point where it's like it's too much color to work with, I think, is the struggle. I think they'd be cool in like rooms and on like random detail pieces here and there. Like I'm thinking here I can make some sort of detail with it, because I think that's a cool highlight spot where it feels like you want some hanging thing up there. But in the rest of the build, they're like too much. Put them there. They're cool, but they're a lot. Could be kind of interesting to use them as like, of course it's upside down for some reason, but it's cool, but the color palette is really difficult to work with. So I'm not sure yet. Is it Uzinhu's mod, or is someone else? It's Velocity is mod. The snow outside is so nice. It's 11 degrees outside and feels amazing. Yeah, it got down to 5 here. So it was, this morning was cold. But like, the best part, freaking gorgeous blue skies. Like, can't complain at the end of the day, because it's freaking gorgeous out right now. Well, not right now, but all day. Blue skies, sun, 5 degrees. Which for me is like my favorite kind of day. I like the cold and the sun at the same time. See you later, Knife. Thanks for hanging out, man. Appreciate you always being around. You haven't seen Velocity in like a month. Yeah, he's in Europe, so his like it's like 5 in the morning or something right there or there for him, so it's not really feasible for him to be in stream all that often. I'm always like, I'm amazed that he even ever was a part of the community with how crazy of a difference of a time zone it is. Because he would do like all-nighters essentially. Yeah, that's just the old fart in me. But he's always around. I was talking to him in a Discord earlier today. The behind the scenes guy. He's always there. Dang it. He's always there, but you never know. You never know when. Minus 30 yesterday? That is too much. I like the cold, but like, come on now. That's ridiculous. Yeah, it's like the other week when I went skiing, it was so freaking cold. It was rough. And then they closed early because the winds were getting too high. It's like, what a rip. Luckily, it was a free pass, so I didn't actually have to pay for it. I would have been pissed otherwise. Only get a half day. And have to schlep all my stuff to the other side of the mountain to keep skiing. Thrive in cold weather. I miss living in Alaska. I don't think I could do Alaska, but I do like cold weather. Granite? Why does this look weird? Yeah. So is it polished granite? What? Nope. Neither of those. Sure. Yeah. Totally. I totally understand why it's doing that. Small detail to add, a little color that I used the stone vases with shrubbery using the plant terrain to make climbing bushes, essentially. That'd be interesting. Try the hollow halls block for the trim on this one. Like this? I don't even have hollow halls out. That's the red one, isn't it? Right? This one? What's this? Oh, that's the marble. It's like I love the obsidian, but it's crazy. What's up, Grim? How's it going? Welcome in. I would complain that he hasn't done anything and that I can be a better mod, but he lives in Europe and I can't really be mad about that. The great part is that I'm the mod during my hours. And when the not safe for work bots take over the entire Discord while I am passed out, he takes over and I wake up to not pure chaos in my Discord. Whoa. They're definitely red. He also is the reason the Discord is even semi-functional. He's done all the work on that. Yeah, yep, good stuff. Like, all of it. Why is that? What? Why is that off one? Is that really how this block works? Oh, no. Joe, I love you, but it's not going to work. Why is this block so weird? What the heck? What the heck? That doesn't work at all. They're completely different on both sides. Chill Thursday evening for me. PC is getting dispatched in the morning, so we'll have it Saturday. Nice. Going to yell at Crazy to join stream. Good luck. I haven't seen him in a while. You think you haven't seen Velocity in a while? I haven't seen Crazy in a long time. I don't dislike the red, but the block is broken. I have no clue why. Like, a lot of them have that sort of slightly different look to them. So, like, this one, where, like, the textures start on one side, not the other, and so things can get weird fast with some of these blocks, depending on how you're using them. Like, that would drive me insane as well. It's honestly why I've stayed sort of on the more simple side with the polished granite and stuff, because some of them are just funky. Which, to do a voxel-based system, the way my brain interprets it, this is not exactly how it works, but the idea is you have sort of an empty texture on the left, and then columns, or as the edge details that a lot of these have, so like this little thing, and all that, justified. So then when you add them, there's not like two next to each other. So you essentially have like, and then they connect, but the texture's always kind of blank on left, not on the right. And so it can create some funky situations with some of the blocks. And then they all sort of interact differently with each other as well. Definitely interesting. Ah, that's what was wrong. Okay. It'd drive me nuts. I do kind of like... I like this detail a lot. I would say no to that gap too. Yeah. A lot of it's just like, you just really have to sit and mess with the system and figure out what does what. This is weird. Some of it's funky. Just because I think that's the nature of a voxel system in general. For the most part, I do really like the vast majority of it, though. Just takes some getting used to, like, what looks good, what doesn't. Just more design challenge. So, do we want to raise this whole thing up? Because it's definitely... have to at least go... I don't think I need this, do I? Oh, I need those. Don't need those. I need this. Yeah, kinda. We could fill up most of that, and then, I don't know, that's gonna be weird. I logged out of my Discord account. Tell me about it. Spent the last 4 hours fixing all the obsidian nubs. Yeah, exactly. Like, I enjoy that they're all their own individual thing. Like, it's not a bad thing. Like this. This is the weathered stone block. In most situations, I do not like this. But what I love is that some situations, these blocks become really interesting and fun to work with. It just takes finagling and messing with it, being willing to screw with it for quite a while. And then once you know how each block works, I feel that they all are kind of interesting and unique in their own ways. Kind of the fun, one of the fun aspects of some of like that part of this game is you kind of have to test things out. You can't just like use everything interchangeably. They need a secondary texture that wraps the other way in certain circumstances, but that would be a polish issue and not super important in this moment of development. Yeah. I think many things like that could get added at some point. When? Those are all the who knows. When, how. Don't get weird. I don't love that. I also was thinking I might move for this exact reason. Whatever. I mean, this isn't horrible, I guess, but it's not my intended ideal look. But I am thinking of moving this little moat thing to here. So wherever this ends. And it might just stay in here. I don't know. It just depends on how this works. But make it bigger than... Because like this space is pointless. No reason for it. I'm going to head to bed. See you later. Sounds good, Unicycle. Have a great rest of your night, man. I hope to catch you on the next one. Might drive me insane that that's not very centered. So we do need, oops, this, right? Yeah, essentially. Struggles of wanting the inside to look specific. It's fine. I think a little bit more like depth in some way, shape, or form would also help here. So the question is like, does this whole thing maybe come out more? And maybe that makes sort of like, if you're looking at the ground, kind of comes in an arch outwards at the edges around. That makes sense. So like this part comes out a little more. It's possible. I don't hate the way it drops back though, so hard to say. Of course this doesn't want to. Boom, pow, boom, pow. And I'd like a little more of this weathered stone as well, I think. I just like these columns a lot. I think they look quite interesting. They really feel like columns, the way they attach at the tops. I kind of want to find a way to make them work. Oops, that's not it. They also sort of have a natural, like, lighter portion in them, which also kind of looks good. When I pull all the windows on my greenhouse, I found out that the only snap to one side based on which way I rotated them. Took me a while to figure it out, but now I know. Funny thing, Joe, is I spent a good portion of today explaining that exact thing to someone. Because I've noticed, like, the same thing. They're finicky, for sure. But, like, literally someone in the Discord for Enshrouded was like, why does one side snap and the other side doesn't? And I'm like, as you were saying, like, it depends on how the engine is built. The way the voxels, from what I've seen, and, like, decor, specifically the windows, is after you tilt them somewhere in the like 45-degree range, the snapping changes and they'll like move one, like it's not even a full block, but if you think of it as the thickness of the window itself, it'll pop like one little piece off. So it's like, it was really weird. And then I was like, oh, I just was messing with it. And I was like, I think I've done this before, and you just have to like rotate. And that's all it was. You just had to rotate. Someone carved the earth with their pick to make it look like a giant snail, and they built a house on it? Huh? Where is it? Let's see. What? That's pretty sick. Dude, people are... I gotta get more creative in this game, man. I mean, I've got my, like, luminous growth thing going, but like in terms of like the crazy sculpting stuff people have done, like it's nuts. I'd say the sculpting part is not necessarily my strong suit, so that it'll be interesting to see if I can figure out any of that. But it looks really cool. That's a really interesting detail. The issue with this is now we have to move this whole thing over, don't we? One to keep it the same. Which is the point, right? Do it. You're gonna do it right. Sorry, I don't really like the highly polished granite anyways. Or highly polished stone? Highly polished stone, yeah. It has never been my favorite in that area, so. Okay, so that means we need one more of these. Love the turtle version of that, like the world turtle. That'd be sick. You haven't seen the... It could be skinnier on the outside. I didn't really think about it. I posted it in Discord a while ago, but the freaking steampunk whale, that's insane. That thing blew me away. That is creativity at its finest. But it looked really freaking cool. It's pretty impressed with that one. Tough one to build too. Very difficult. Guess I wasn't really thinking about the statues in this either. I guess this could be the platform for the statue now that I think about it. Did you already try the red marble block for trim? I can't remember what that actually looks like. No, I haven't. It's the only thing about this is that there's not going to be any luminous growth in this area. It's only in there, and then it's going to go up there. It might take over some of that, but I don't necessarily want it ripping into this. The whale ship is so cool. Yeah, that's freaking nuts. I don't know if I've even really placed the red marble block. I have no clue what it even hardly looks like. Get rid of all these mosaics. I don't have enough room for them, do I? Of course. What do we do? From above, I guess. Whatever. So many mosaics. I don't even know how they came up with that whale ship thing. It's like... My brain thinks in buildings and structures so that, like, if someone made me a whale, I could make the whale into a ship. But just making a whale, over my head. I'm always amazed at the different types of creative there are. Everyone has their own style and look that they like. Oh. So it does need to go there. Okay, well. Yeah, that'll work. Get one of these. Line it up. Not showing there. About that. Didn't really think about this part. Sure. Just slightly overlap these. Look to the best. that center line being off is going to bug me. But that's also placing a statue, so. This is where do like that. Spear's kind of weird. Also completely covers that up. What if it's like just slightly too big for my purposes? Really wish you could scale them. Maybe she like gets placed just on the edge. Like clear this sort of thing up. Maybe extend that just a hair. Place it on the outside. Would really help with the depth of it. God, just saw the whale. You just saw the whale? Dude, that thing's insane. That I'd probably say is the coolest thing I've seen built in Enshrouded. Just in terms of like, wow, that's cool. There's some awesome castles, there's some awesome cities and stuff. That one takes the cake for me, I think, in just terms of like pure crazy design build. All that, I can just do this. Platform to stand on. What are these? Nope. Alright, that block never works. It's one of those blocks that I haven't found a good use for yet. Just like 4x4. Tends to just be more annoying than it's worth. What block is that? Oh, shitty wall. I have it? Yeah, I do. I even remember using these blocks. Contemplating making that one as big as this one, just shorter though. Kind of like it wider. Not loving this platform thing though. I don't really know how I want to like tie it in though. Almost feels like I need to just do the whole thing across if I'm gonna do it. Just like fully commit. Hello? There you go. That way at least it's even. It was like before, it just looked like crap. This allows me, come on, just a hair more freedom too. In terms of, I actually don't hate that. That looks fine. I can mess with those lines too, because this one was like the full height of two of them. So like that's where the center line went, no matter what I was gonna do. Get up. Okay, that actually feels pretty good. Gives it a much better like platform that it's like I like that much better. But I do kind of want to make this go out one more, just because I can. I think it's because I don't love this. I like the proportion of that better. I just shared an older video of a guy who built a ship in Enshrouded. It's my favorite I've seen. Ooh, it's better than the through a castle. I want a whale. But in the Enshrouded chat, dude, words is hard. Wait, when did you do that, Grim? Sorry, I totally missed the 30 bits, man. For some reason the notification didn't go off. I not have a... I may not have a notification for bits. I don't know. Oh, I saw the Build King. I didn't see the notification. Sorry about that. Thank you, though. Appreciate it. Yeah, I'll definitely check it out, though, Joe. Definitely. Now, it's sort of implementing a little of this into this, I think, is going to be the way to go. Let me up. How did I do it? Too much. Ship's just really unique. Hey, I mean, I like anything that's like unique and interesting. I'm all for. I love seeing inspiration for builds. Almost feels like wants to go back. Be like this section. I don't want it to compete too much. You can find a better transition. This does a nice job where it just is the texture catching on, but that would mean I need to make all of that highly polished. It's too much light texture. I think I like this because it allows visually just enough, because I want the upper portion to transition to a big, massive white tower, but I want the bottom to sort of be this creepy, the luminous overgrowth sort of thing is going to make it sort of creepy, haunted looking, but I want it to be more like the tower it was, and so it's like sort of transformed almost. Looks really good with those two stones. Which two, sorry? Or you're just saying like this? Thank you for the follow there. Appreciate it. I'm doing good. How are you? Yeah, it only really works where this block is next to one of these, but not under it directly. That is the struggle. It's a much better mix I did here. I don't know. Yeah. That's the struggle, is like continuing the similar pattern. Where are you from? The US. Live on the West Coast. Good old Oregon. Oh, hurts my eyes when the lighting changes like that. I feel like that's one thing I've noticed is the skybox is so bright sometimes. Nice to meet you as well. Not daily, no. Typically Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Oops. These days, at least. It's like one layer above, maybe. It's better depth. I don't like that it's even with this, though. It's almost like this whole thing needs to step back one. If you're gonna offer your art services or whatever, no thank you. I'm good. Do it all myself. Or emotes or stream overlays or any of that. Close. It's very close. Maybe like this. Maybe it wants to be even. I don't know. Yeah, thank you, but I'm good. is what I have a degree in architecture and stuff, so I like making my own creative things. But thanks, though. It's close. It almost does feel like it needs to step back one, but then it's even with this one, so then this one wants to step back. Struggle's real. How do we tie this in? I gotta check it, I guess. It's not bad. It's not bad. I guess let's just try it. Once I see it finished, then I can decide. You never know. Why does that look like such a different block? It'd be easier to pull the middle one out. You're saying this one? Oh, this one. Yeah, you're not wrong. That would be the easiest way to not have to do anything, and I do have a lot of space here, so I guess that's very possible. It does feel too light to me still. What'd I get rid of? Not what I was trying to. Yeah. Definitely like the darker below. Did this horribly. But you never know unless you try, right? Could just leave it like that. Well, I like the border is nice. Yeah. Yeah, instead of pushing all of them, yeah. That'd be the easy way to go. Be the, like, intelligent way to go. The not hating myself way. Sometimes I like to make it more difficult on myself, alright? Like that. Just undo things just to redo them. And that might stay. What block is this? Polished granite. Not that I think that will matter too much. Yeah, I mean, that'll work. It's just enough. Fine with me. Nice thing is I could always pull the balcony out more as well, and I do just like something about that, like, dropping back effect, though. Just adds so much more depth to it. Put this back. That's the best part? Yeah. I concur. I concur. Yeah, I definitely like that it sets back more and more. I think these statues may... Oh, well, actually, you know, I've been wondering what to do with this area. Would it not be just a perfect spot to, like, toss a statue? Because these ones don't really have much reason to them. Honestly, I think that's perfect. Definitely didn't get those even, did I? Maybe I did. Better to be lucky than good, folks. Can't tell if they're even. Two. And two, I think, yeah. 3? little off. Only thought of it because I had a similar issue earlier today and did it the hard way. Yeah, I've been there. I'm pretty good at doing things the hard way, so, you know. I think that's correct. Yes. I'll have to check if these are centered eventually, but let's get the effect before I go too crazy. Yeah, they feel good there, actually. I wish you could mirror things. That would be a really, really nice change. Just to add flip. That would be really cool. Would allow for... Not that this is bad in any way, shape, or form, but I would love for that spear to be out the right side, just like that one's out the left. And so it goes to the outside. I find things like that tend to make... just reads a little bit better. Like, this one will always, like, visually feel like it's way closer than that one. Just about to say that? Yeah. I have to make it an upvote thing in the suggestions. They have a thing you can go upvote different things if you want. And it would be a good little addition, I think. Would definitely be a nice one to have. Just the little things like that. Okay, so I mean, it's here. Stuck. Jeez, come on. Yeah, it'll work. Yeah, I think the bigger one's gonna be better. I've never loved the proportion of this to it. It feels, just always felt just a little off. So something just slightly bigger, I think, might be the right direction. If they face each other, might not stand out as much. That's true. It still ends up being one's in the right, one's in its left. Not like literally how it works, but it's iffy. I don't know. How's the door look? Check that. I don't even know if I need to move it. I'll be fine. I don't hate that it sits back a little. And just do one more block in here. That sits against the door. That's not bad. It's a little thick, but at the same time, it's not bad. I might move it forward one, but I don't hate it. But yeah. I guess I don't think I moved this, right? Is that what it is? I don't know if I better like it. They're both good. Decisions. I'll leave it and I can remove it another time. That doesn't look bad though. I kind of liked this centerpiece because it makes it look almost like a doorstop or something. Okay, so that all steps back. We do need to figure this out. Probably just doesn't need to be like an exact copy of the left one. Now it's way different anyway, I guess, so it doesn't really matter. It's headed in the right direction. Still have to fix those, but that's easy enough. Stand them on their heads, that's the key. That's what we needed all along. To do all these stone things too. regular stone. Yeah, there it is. That's the rubble. I was like, what? Yeah, I wish it didn't let you step down like that. But otherwise, that's pretty good. It looked pretty good with just these things. What did I use this? I think I just used it, right? Just hid them way under? Yeah. Yeah. And then they need a, like, snap 90. So I don't have to, like, scroll this to flat. I can just quickly and easily snap it down. Not necessarily like the biggest thing in the world that they need to work on, but would be cool. Where's that bar? Pretty sure I laid it out just like this. But we never know until we look. It's pretty centered. That regular stone trick doesn't work if textures are low quality. The lower lips don't show. That makes sense. That definitely makes sense. There's a... You're essentially making everything more blocky, and you lose the cool, like, bump outs, like even these, where you get the little edge. Just this little stuff. No, it makes sense. I mean, the whole point, when you turn it off, it does make it a lot easier to work with stuff, but the textures just look so good. Actually, is that right? Is that what I did? Yeah, I thought that's what I did. Dang it. One can stay. No, that one can't stay. Yep. Oh, dang it. Actually, very tempted to make this all. Let's me just screw with it. Let's see. Tend to like polished granite just more for this plaza space. It's just good. Feels like more of a plaza thing to me for some reason. The other stuff's like, it's just a little too fancy, I think. Whereas that just looks more cobble road sort of thing. Yeah. Two stragglers. Sure. No clue why that was built like that. Who built this? Breaking all my own rules right now. If anyone's curious. Trying to build as cleanly as I can. Meaning using the full blocks whenever possible so you don't end up with things like this when you want to change a bunch of stuff. The more accurate you build it, the easier it is to undo all of it. Highly recommend. Yeah, it looks more like an outside. Whereas I do like this. I don't even know if I want this here. Ew. But I do like it as an interior floor. I think it looks quite good. Like in here, it makes total sense to have like a nice fancy floor inside. But outside, like, really, is anyone putting in the effort to do all of this? Like, this is probably going to be the road for, like, the entire village. So the more I looked at it, the more I was like, that's probably not the way I want to go. I do really like the block, but it's got to make sense in the greater design of the whole city, not just in one aspect. Huh. It was like I planned it the whole time. Wait a second. Think the way you rotate it, yeah. That gets me to the right height. Only really rich people like the Pope rich, yeah. Have you been to the Vatican? That thing's crazy, dude. They loaded. Oh, nah. That is not centered. Good work there, Timber. Good news is it's very easy to fix stuff like that. As long as you don't scroll off of the block you're working with, very easy to keep messing with. That's the dream, right? Rich as the Pope. Sounds like a great time. Then I could just stream for fun. Hang out with my kid all day. Stream for a good old time. Because I want to. I mean, I want to, but it'd be nice to do it just because. No other expectations out of it. But I didn't mess anything up. And I think I'm gonna make this moat bigger anyways. Not gonna worry about that part. Definitely needs work still, but it's heading in the right direction. And then probably do like a little darker here. I was thinking bringing some of this up and some of these smaller spaces too, maybe. Like these outer ones. I don't know if I want like... That's a lot of windows already between this intersection. I don't really know if I need all that. Makes it hard to visually even look at it when you're inside. Also, why is this door... Why is this door this color? Quite disappointed in that. I was really looking forward to like a metal door because I didn't have one, and they made it this like weird green. It's like only like it's a patina, but it's only on like the top. I just want normal metal so it matches everything. They gotta make it so hard on me. These will need more details now, though, now that I'm not using the statues inside that space. I'm definitely going to have to find a way to sort of increase the detail level. For sure. Or else it's going to feel a little too bland, I think. What you doing down there, Blue? It actually creates a nice glow at night. Whereas, like, these are very in your face blue. This creates a much better transition with the blue. Yeah, I think it looks way better at night. Just like that's exactly the like glowing blue, whereas this is like just blue. Little too straight and narrow. It's not quite providing an effect. It's more just it exists. I wanted more blue, so I put blue instead of doing like this. This is a nice little design addition. I wish I liked the top of the blocks a little bit more. I don't hate them, but it does kind of drive me slightly insane that it looks like a 4-year-old is stacking blocks. But the glow itself is worth it, I think, so. All right, I gotta sit down. As Uzun would say, I gotta shrink. Hey, I'm back. Back so far. I'm not. Who knows? My camera moving like that. Like a weird close-up. That's exactly why I made it. The blue is so overwhelming. I constantly look for ways to lower the intensity. Yeah, that's what I feel about with all the luminescent blocks. Like, they have to be... Like, that is just blindingly white. And it's too much. Which is why I love the detail downstairs where you get a lighted ceiling effect, but it breaks it up so much more. I mean, even this, it's an intense amount of light in here, especially with all the torches and stuff. Like, there's a lot of lighting going on in this area, and then the lava and everything. But that's okay with me in this space. But to just I haven't really seen any ways that any of the luminescent blocks have been utilized in a build by themselves that I really thought, wow, those look really cool. Like, these are the same. They have just enough diffusion with the glass pane sort of texture thing with the metal running through it. Sort of like stained glass, I guess is the best way to describe it. It breaks it up enough that it looks really good, but these are just pow, right in the face. They're not subtle in any way, shape, or form. But they make really cool effects when you use them recessed. I've seen some people do a similar detail to what I did downstairs, but instead of using the windows tilted and stuff, they're just sort of like a ceiling soffit. And so instead of going a little crazy with them, they recess them back in a hole in the ceiling, so you see the lighting coming into it, but you don't actually see the white. And that's when it looks best in the same way. You don't see the actual piece, you just get the effect of it. So otherwise it's kind of just overkill. Gatorade lights? Yeah. That's a pretty good way to explain it. I'd say I don't offer them free advertisement, but I do wear a Gatorade shirt every once in a while, so I guess I can't say that. Should place this block first. Okay, good. It did go. Perfect, perfect. And it's always figuring out which way. This way. No. That. think that's right. Yeah. Right? I think so. Stand in here to get it centered. Is that? Okay, it is. Worried I didn't even put that in the right spot. Okay, okay. Getting there. That all feels right, yeah. Get out of here. Slowly but surely. You can do the regular stone trick for a ceiling too, but you have to separate the luminous block. An extra space makes it more annoying to build. Interesting. That's kind of where I was originally thinking it would be cool to use. Really? It makes sense that you get the same... almost the same gap, essentially, yeah. What the? Who built this thing? The hack. Some effects like that I do like downstairs in the armory. I've got a couple veins of the iron block, but I like it as more of a subtle detail. Doesn't make as much sense outside. Yeah, I like this flooring a lot better. Just feels like outside, as you said. There's a hole. Excuse you? Doesn't really matter, I guess. Didn't do a great job building this the first time, and I'm not doing a great job now. I don't plan on undoing this again, though, so I think it's fine. Okay, let's see. Alright, that'll work. What? I swear that was all removed. Okay, okay. Now, did I ruin anything else in the process? That's all fine. So here, that, so destroy this. Do a 9-block square with the middle block missing. It will make a small pinhole that still lets light through. I've messed with this technique a lot. Does a cool ceiling texture. Interesting. Be another way. It's definitely a cool little trick. Definitely more that can be done with it, I think. That's the hard part, is like you could spend countless hours just doing detail work like that, just messing with it, not even like actually building any of it. Just out of nowhere, your whole day could be gone messing with this stuff. Yeah, I really need a snap to decor option. Really bad. You wish there was a wall version? Yeah, that was my original thought. I don't know why my brain thought it would work that way, but I originally was like, perfect, throw it up on the wall. I think I just immediately grabbed some of these and was like, boom, let's go. And then I was like, wait, they don't do it. It's definitely interesting, like, it's very different. I don't know. I guess all this is what? Why'd it connect in a few random spots? Hello? Do you have to do it too high? Is that what you're saying? Guess you get the same effect, essentially. It is much more annoying to make, though. Just takes a lot more space is all, I guess. It's not like the end of the world. Is that gonna screw it up again? Yeah. The struggle is then you're like, this is the... I wish those little things would be fixed, though. Like, to me, the fact that some of those are working right means that some part of this texture isn't quite working as intended, is my first guess. Do something interesting with it, though. Just requires a lot of ceiling space. It's fun to crisscross them? Yeah. Yeah, that's what your first one would be really cool. And that's why I want it. Like, I would love to do... Like, think about, like, the Tron effect you could make. Like, these little beams of light all over the place, just, like, running throughout, like, creating shapes and all sorts of random stuff. It would be really interesting. Foley. You should just... back it out. Block it out completely. Oh, yeah. I'm sure I'll find some more uses for it. That's sort of what made Grounded so fun, is me and Luderav just, like, I'd find a detail like that, or he'd find a detail like that, and then the other person would just take it and you'd be like, how the heck did you take that idea and make it that much cooler? Like, we just fed off of each other. It made it really fun. That's why Luderav needs to start playing more. Or else Joe over here is going to replace you. It makes it so much more fun to, like, have people to bounce ideas off of. Like, through all of the building and all the options that this game has, like, you can only discover so much on your own. Like, it's actually going to be one of my main tips for my top 10 tips to build better in Enshrouded. I need exponentially more footage and stuff at this point. But, like, joining a building community of some kind is, like, essential in my mind. It's like, if you don't have people to bounce ideas off of, if you don't have people to, like, look at your builds, like, it makes it so much harder to be creative by yourself completely. Like, exponentially more difficult to just sit in a room and be creative. I find it very difficult, at least. Yeah. And like that. That. I find it very difficult to build things with, like, no one else. Building by yourself is very difficult. Not impossible by any means, but I think it also just makes it way more fun. Like, not that I take everyone's ideas and use them or anything. I wouldn't really expect anyone to take every idea given to them and just use it, because, like, you want it to be your design, but it's also just really nice bouncing ideas off of people and messing with things. Just put my original floor up in Discord. I lost that world, unfortunately. Dude, everyone seems to be losing worlds. Well, that ship does look really interesting. I'll have to check that video out. How did you do that? That's a totally different block, though. Or is that with the textures turned down? Doesn't look like it. I don't know. It's like the floor taken to the next level. I guess the other way I could do this... I like the drop, but... Or the, I like this one little layer. I just am not loving how these are meeting necessarily. So it's the struggle. It's old, yeah, but like, it still looks really cool. How'd you do it? Show me the way. Like, if I was gonna rebuild that, I would like go find like, I'd actually probably just use something like these on the floor at this point. Who needs your cool design? And you can just use something like this. Only issue is when you use decor everywhere. If you press E ever, you just get into a weird menu screen. I definitely like the middle better than I like the sides right now. I think they updated it, or maybe it was a different block. Now I have to figure it out. Well, if you figure it out, let me know. Definitely let me know. We're headed in the right direction, for sure. That's the positive note here. I wasn't expecting for this to just, like, transform into the perfect little thing, but... My next thing that I'm thinking is, does this want to drop down one and this drop down one? That way, this opening becomes more of a highlight, which could be cool, whereas like currently it actually feels smaller than these. Which I don't necessarily like love yet. Getting those proportions right can be very difficult. Which means this needs to go. Definitely not the upper detail that I wanted, but Now that's actually just the height. This column needs to come out or something too. It's sitting too far back now. Yeah, maybe it was sitting too far back either way, honestly. Since the next one is slightly further. Hello, get out of here. That's not bad. Sits better. It sits correctly there. I guess that one texture's a little weird, but it is what it is, I guess. Can't fix everything. And then that goes down one. Yeah, it almost make the whole thing. Thank you for the follow, Keenan. Appreciate that. Because if we did one more down, then I could copy this little detail and it wouldn't look exactly the same. Seems like maybe the way to go. That means all of this goes down one. I think. And then get rid of that. Some polished granite in there. Yeah, it's all right. Needs a little more. I gotta figure out that detail, but loving this concept. I just started playing recently with friends. I haven't done any building yet, but they have. The building's incredible. It is slow in the sense that there are infinite possibilities. But man, is it really fun. I don't think I built in a lot of games and I am absolutely blown away by how good this building system is. This needs to go down one more, actually. Yeah, it's just fun. It's extremely fun. Could be a little overwhelming in the beginning, though. Looks like a blast. I really want to try and build a tunnel that overlooks areas of the shroud out of a cliff or something. That would be really cool, too. And that's like the beauty of it is there's the only, so far, what I've found is the only limitation is your creativity at the end of the day. Like, there is nothing you can't do in this game. Outside of build circles. Which you kind of can, honestly. You just have to do it in a slightly more creative way, is all. And then every time they add something new, it just gets even better. Yeah, I guess this is where it's going to get difficult to start tying this in when these sort of tear downward. It's a little heavy on the polished, or the highly polished stone, yeah. But, I mean, like this... Like, this is my flame altar area. Outside, sort of like a graveyard. The shroud concept is taking over, is the whole idea behind it. And that'll go all the way up, and there'll be a castle up there. This is just my dwarven smith fortress thing. Got a little forge area with lava. Looks up to the second level, which I haven't even hardly touched. This is where all the NPC building areas will go on both sides. Currently, they're just room for me to throw garbage everywhere. This will just be a massive open room once I do it, and then I'll have probably some random rooms on the side. I haven't figured all that out quite yet. And then we got the storage crafting room with all the different blocks, terrain, roof. These are all the standard blocks, and then this will be all the resources over here. I haven't organized everything out yet. I'm just kind of shoving anything and everything everywhere because there's so many items. I don't know how I want to organize it yet. And then this is what we've been working on most recently, is the armory. Boom. It was really fun. We have all our survivors and assistants in a basement right now because they kept getting in the way. Yeah, that's why I have them in a cage right now. They're just annoying. Until I get like their actual crafting spaces done, they're just in the way for the most part. But slowly messing with like random details in here, getting different weapons mounted and in these different areas. It's a slow process though. Then more lava, got the bridge that goes across. The ceiling is what we just finished last stream essentially. Really happy with it, how it turned out. It was really fun. It's always so shocking when you open the door and they all say, "Hey, you have an extra flame. A good thing to do is build straight up as high as you can and put an altar up there. Then you can use it as a vantage point." Yeah, that does work pretty well. I have my bounce elevator now, so that does most of it for me. And then randomly, if you know the map very well, I'm building directly on top of the Mistburied Catacombs, and through the process of digging out this entire space for the armory, I accidentally tunneled into the Mistburied Catacombs and then decided to make it sort of part of my build. So when you do the quest where you have to come get this a shield, I think is what it is, out of here. When you loot it, it released the shroud out, is the idea. And then the shroud is going and consuming from the flame altar from within. So that's why directly above, you can see we're standing directly below the flame altar. So this is like consuming and corrupting everything. You can kind of see there's holes in the wall. Oh, no. Well, there you go. So that's that effect. And then the idea is that, oops, once you come up, because the shroud, it's luminescent growth, but it's the only thing you can really build that's like shroud-like, is consuming the flame altar area and slowly taking over the city, and then it will go up this whole little hillside, and it will be, I'm going to build a big castle up here, and the castle will be slowly getting consumed, which I think will start a little bit of the terrain work tonight on that. Currently I haven't messed with it at all. Almost just died again. I need to make this slightly more efficient. It's just barely too wide. I think if I kept it to like that maximum, it'd probably function just a little bit better, but it sort of works. Yeah, so everything here will be a huge castle. Oh no. And it'll be like ripped out of the ground and starting to float away essentially. I think it'll be pretty fun. I have a lot to figure out in the design of that though. And we have a lot of stuff to do in like my just pure crafting area. I just keep jumping around and coming up with new ideas and wanting to mess with them more and more. hard to stop. That's great. I'm stoked to watch you build it all out. Yeah, thank you. That's the hope. Is people just get to watch it slowly grow and transform every stream. How does what work, Joe? If you're curious, Keenan, I'm also streaming on YouTube, so I'm talking to 2 chats at the same time. Are you just saying the bounce tower? Glider is sick too. I'm excited to dive deeper into this. Yeah, I have all the like late game stuff at this point, so the game gets so much easier when you have this one. It's a little crazy to control, but you can go so much further with it. The elevator? Yeah, it's just a bounce elevator. I sort of based it off of the grounded ones, but unfortunately you can't like clip them into the wall, and like in grounded you just place them flat and you put them just inside the wall, and then you can walk to it and it bounces you straight up. These ones don't work that way because they have the wood piece here, like the frame, so it stops you. So all I did was take the bounce trampolines and angle them, so you just have to walk into it and then you kind of push the arrow keys and go back and forth to get to each one. I'm thinking if I do it efficiently enough, like I was saying, make it more narrow, I'd hope that I could almost make it automatic to where you just like ping pong just enough. I think there's a way. But the goal is that eventually when the wall that goes around the whole thing here, there'll be a wall that's built all the way around the rim here. Which is going to be a freaking project and a half. We'll have a big watchtower on this portion here, and my goal is that I'm going to hollow out the inside of this whole mountain here and put one of those bounce elevators inside it. So that was my first attempt at it, but I just, instead of teleporting everywhere, I wanted to have a fun bounce elevator because I can. So I think the hope is that somewhere like down here there will be an entrance where you walk into the mountain and just have like a secret door of some kind or something, and then you just bounce your way all the way to the top, because I think there's going to be some form of a path that goes around the whole thing, or not the whole thing, that like there's some main road. Can't see from there, gotta travel to get back up. There'll be like a steep road. So you'll be able to walk around and stuff, and like get up from the very bottom, but I don't necessarily want to like have to walk if I don't want to. Like there's already sort of a road here, so it's probably going to be a road that comes in here, and there's like some front gates here or somewhere over here. We'll just figure that stuff out as we go, honestly. There's no plan for how that's going to get all set up. But it kind of makes sense that like here, there'd be some grand staircase or of some kind. And then since there's already sort of a path, there'll be like a road somewhere in this general area that goes up like this. Feels like the natural thing because it's already there, was my thought. And then there'll be more little towers and stuff out in these areas as we get out here. Whenever that happens, we're a long ways away. Definitely not something happening soon. But I'll need to get the wall built at some point. I definitely can't leave it for last because it's going to tie into a lot of other houses and random stuff. And then the center will just be a housing district with all the different NPCs. And then we'll build a big museum library thing over here. So you'll sort of have a massive castle, a big library, and then houses and all sorts of stuff. Maybe farms. I might do some like tiered farms on like some of these areas. I had originally thought of doing it here, but then I have to do like an extra 10 things I have to do a whole nother, at least one more flame altar, but I thought that would be a cool place to do a farm. And naturally it doesn't quite work, but I thought this was the perfect start to a bridge. So there's a possibility that I utilize this in some way, shape, or form. I'm just not totally sure like what or how that's going to work yet. Especially since this doesn't like... It would land somewhere out in the middle of over here somewhere. If I were to do a bridge this way, so I'm kind of like, eh. I'd need like 2 or 3 more altars here, so I'm like... Wouldn't quite work, but... I might find a way to tie that in nicely. We'll see. That'll be the goal, I think. Is in some way, shape, or form, since this is the catacombs entrance, like make this some type of more interesting entrance overall. It's cool already, but I can figure something more interesting out. You have multiple flame altars around, so you can really spread the build out. Yes. Yeah, as long as they overlap, you can build anywhere. You can go as big as you want. So I have 4 altars perfectly spaced out. So they overlap in the middle, one of these blocks, essentially. So each one, like the one from the left goes to this block, the one from the right goes to that block. Because you don't have to do that, but I was a little worried that I would screw it up and have to mess with it. No, XYZ just showed up, Joe. Yeah, then this is all part of the catacombs already, so I might at some point mess with this and make this into something more interesting also. Because I can build in all of this all the way to where the shroud starts, which isn't that far, but it's a decent amount. It's quite a bit of space. How do I get out of here? Just dying. That farm area is where my old base used to be. There's a lot of good terraced farm area. Yeah, it's a really cool spot. Read that wrong? Yeah. All good, all good. No. Welcome to the fun. Yes. Yeah, I really liked, I don't know, it's got such a good terrace space. I was really thinking that a terraced farm, like the ones you see in Asia with like the like tiered water farms, they just look so cool. So I want to do that in some way, shape, or form. So it doesn't really make sense to do it in the middle of the city necessarily, but could be something. Either we go all the way over there if I find myself needing more to do, which, I mean, at this rate, I feel like we have a year ahead of us of building to get this all done. I'm sure I'll get faster and faster as I go, but currently it's a slow process. But I have all of these spaces to work with too. So we could do kind of a farm anywhere almost. Got a lot of room to work with. Yeah, so you can see the... that is where the line stops. So we have a lot of space to kind of just goof with. Also thought it'd be cool to do some towers and stuff as well. So we'd have like the wall coming here and then having some staircases that go down to little areas like this space. And start maybe fortifying some of these out and just fill up every inch that I possibly can. Just go crazy. Seems like the goal. The rake will become your best friend. That is the one thing I have, like, I've hardly even touched the rake. I started messing with it on this upper portion since I've terraformed so much of this mountain area, but it wasn't working very well for me. I know what the rake can do. I just need to play with it more before I'm like confident. in the whole process. It's like it's really good until you're like, until it's not really good. Kind of have to have a not too heavy hand when you're messing with it. It's really easy to just get carried away and go nuts. If you work too fast, you can like really do weird things on accident. Yeah, like that. To take it nice and slow, which is not necessarily my strong suit. What? How did it get up there? Patience is key, but who has that these days? At least this won't look like such a piece of garbage if I do a little bit of this. Dude, why does it keep going up there? Just seen so many people complaining about the rake online. I'm always like, I don't feel like it's that hard. You gotta be patient with it, you know? It's definitely easy to screw up, though. Not that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, you gotta like start close. I feel like I shouldn't even be holding the mouse down when I'm doing this. Just asking to screw it up if you go too fast. It's a good place for a shrine too. And if I made a switchback trail to it, that would work too. So many options. That's a struggle. And I mean, I could probably put one shrine somewhere over here and get most of this. Because I mean, if you think this is the block we have, about that. So, I mean, it'd be close. You'd probably get most of it. Hard to say, though. Good luck. Good job with it all. I'm going to lurk while I fall asleep. Stayed up way too late. Good luck with the build. Do you stream often? Yeah, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. I am live. Typically, it's been between 7:30 and 8 is when I start, Pacific Standard Time. Every once in a while, I miss a day here and there, but for the most part, Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Messes up when you change angles. I have to do a lot of tapping rather than holding. Yeah, that takes way too much patience. You rake and walk backwards, it has a tendency to push you through the map and spawn you at the game start. That's interesting. That sounds like a fun mechanic. I don't know. All right. I think I need to stare at those longer. It's not quite working yet. It's heading in a good direction. I like that it's getting a little bigger. It's getting a little more depth and design in it, but we got some work to do still. I really want to find something interesting that fits within there. Maybe that's one of the banners, but they tend to either be like the blue ones are too small for most things I want to use them for, and the hollow hulled ones are like ridiculously massive. Like I don't think most people, 99% of people in the game are not building big enough to use them. So it feels a little weird. So I gotta figure out what blocks I want to use and mess with. We need stone to do this. I don't have one stone. I guess actually I'm a goof. Yes, we do. We just gotta mine it. I will say I'm inspired to jump in and make a floating city with a floating landmass. Do it. That's where I'm headed. dirt. There we go. And just like that, now we have stone to build with. Ooh, I don't have a whole lot of stone. I don't have very much stone. Question is, like, height on this is going to be the key. How high is this going to be floating out of the ground? And how big of a platform do I need? So I'm pretty sure I'm going to want this castle to be bigger than I probably originally intended. I mean, I intended for it to be big, but I think the bigger I make it, the better off this is going to look. If I go too small, it's not going to be very fun to work with. Make, like, useful interior spaces. It's definitely going to be a balance of, like, what's too much, what's not enough. And then I definitely want height and stuff with it. So it's definitely not going to be like a flat piece floating thing like this. Like, I want it to sort of follow the mountain up. Because in theory, if it's being ripped up, I like the look of these. Like, if I could, like, take these, cut them, and raise them up, I think that'd be really fun to mess with. But like rip them out of the ground and put them higher because they have a really interesting look to them already. But it's going to take some work. Okay, cool. I swear, that's not even that high. You have like real world falling physics in this game. 10 feet off the ground, you're doomed. Good luck. You're never surviving. I think there was a suggestion in the suggestions section, just turning fall damage off inside the altar areas. I'm all for that. Hate fall damage. There's one mechanic I absolutely loathe. It is fall damage. There are very few like survival game mechanics that I don't like enjoy in any way, shape, or form. The vast majority of them are just like, they're maybe not as fun to me, but I get why they're a thing. Like the hunger and all that stuff. Fall damage just is pain and misery every time. There's just nothing enjoyable about fall damage. All it does is make me an angry person. I think of floating islands, I always think of the movie Gulliver's Travels. Yeah, that's a great example of it. This is definitely going to be an interesting take on a floating island. Will not be the normal floating island I think most people would picture right off the bat. Like it will be, but it won't be at the same time. Because that makes a lot of sense, right? It's not quite as much space as I was thinking. Not bad. Gonna be the hardest part about this is gonna be making it fit in with the rest of the terrain. It'll be very difficult. Definitely gonna be a challenge. Probably wants to be pulled up maybe higher. It's like, I guess if the crater is coming down. This is like, I guess if this is where the bottom of the crater is probably going to be, since that's probably the easiest way to mess with it, I probably need to pull this up quite a bit higher. It's really going to be floating. Can't really go much further than all. Okay. Why don't I have bandages with me? Keep putting them away. Could rip out part of this as well. I mean, actually, none of this is needed if I think about this correctly. It's probably easier to just dump all this, clear out more space. 80% familiar, 20% unfamiliar is a good ratio to make things feel new and interesting, but not crazy wacky. Yeah, I feel like that's perfect. It's mostly going to be the fact that it's like, it's going to be a floating island, but then it's going to be this like darker, sinister vibe to it, because it's going to have this like the luminous growth is going to be all over the bottom. Gonna get real crazy, I think. It won't be wacky crazy, but it's gonna be intense. I think is the word. Should be a fun one though. That will be cool to see. Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. It's like, I'm at that phase where I have this like grand image in my head of what it's gonna be. Oh no. Oh no. Whee! Have you guys ever gotten stuck gliding? Look what I can do. Look at me, Mom. Woo! Okay, I guess we go back to the main menu. Speaking of game mechanics, I had a likely cool idea for another game. I must not have written it down. It's gone forever. Dude, that is my brain. I have a notebook to write down ideas, content creation ideas, video ideas, and I have a like to-do list, so I do the things that I need to do. And I have to have that like combination of them, or I forget to do the things that I write down. It's a two-phase operation. I guess I could dig with the pickaxe, but you can't dig. I did it earlier and I was only thinking about this. Since you're so close, you can't typically dig underneath you. I got stuck gliding once, then I sobered up. Is that what the issue here is? I swear, officer, I haven't been drinking nothing. Okay, I think this definitely is gonna need to be like higher. It's like finding a balance of what's going to be too high, but I did want this to sort of be it's the centerpiece of the entire build, you know? So it can't be, I don't think we can overdo it necessarily. Like, you can overdo anything, but I'm thinking likely the more epic and crazy we make this, the better off it's just going to be in general. I guess one thing that would have been smart here is probably not using dirt and rock, because that's going to be way more annoying to erase and get rid of when I do 10 layers of it randomly to figure out the right height. kind of shape are you thinking? That is the struggle. I mean, in theory, it's gonna be a roughly some kind of circle-ish. I don't know what the castle shape's gonna be. I'm mostly gonna start with figuring out the best way to make the earth ripped out of the ground first. I think that's like the most important part, is getting the foundation to the size where it makes sense. And then whatever space I have left is where the castle's gonna go. If you want it to be more creepy, you could make it a crescent, like the castle, or the ripping out of the ground part. Oh, dang it, I wanted to go higher. Definitely tall is the struggle, but as it tapers in, sort of like this, that will help reduce the strain of it looking like maybe too big. Need to put some more blocks up around the ripping part. Interesting. It's definitely just like, I want to make it as big as I can is the main focus though. Not totally sure what the best approach will be, but I guess since the devs still haven't added my free cam I want, everyone needs a bounce elevator to get up really high over their builds to look at them. This build specifically wants a free cam of some kind. Looks like an eye. It's gonna dwarf. That entrance feels decently big, like maybe medium-sized build. This thing's gonna make it feel so tiny. I think the question is like, I almost need to draw an outline like even somewhere in the ground around there, like dig it all out and then trace those lines upwards almost. I think is going to be the way I'm going to have to do this. Pointed organic shapes give off creepy and infected. Interesting. I'll definitely have to look up some more stuff. I've mostly only looked at like sky islands, and they often are just kind of a rough circular shape that has cones coming down out of it, out of the bottom. So it's going to be also look up. I think a great like imagery would be the sky islands in Avatar. Like they have that vine effect. They're very natural. I'm gonna have to do a bunch of research on these, but the vine effect I'm essentially thinking of as the shroud or the luminescent growth. Actually, the one in Disney World is like a perfect one to look at. If anybody's been to the Disney World Animal Kingdom, it's pretty epic. Seeing the floating islands like made in real life. The vines are gonna give off that like perfect, like some of it will be connected, little bits and pieces. It'll be interesting. It's gonna take some serious contemplating because I need both the land to look good, but it needs to be big enough so the castle itself looks good. Because like realistically, this isn't that much space for a big castle. So it's definitely going to have a decent amount of verticality. We might have to throw another flame altar in it too near the top to get a little bit more height. Because if you look up Gondolin, that is sort of what I'm basing the city on, sort of a white walled city on a big mountaintop essentially. It's very similar, like instead of having this gully or valley in the middle, it's sort of flat and then everything's built up on top of that, but there is sort of a massive white tower sticking out of the middle of it, which is sort of what I want this castle piece to look like. But man, some of the castle builds I've seen, like they're huge. Sorry if I get out of the game real fast. I'm trying to find an image to look at that I have saved. Hello? There we go. Everything froze. Where is it? Where the heck is this picture? There it is. Like, I've been looking at where a damaged perfect shape is also very unsettling. Something like a perfect cube with cracks through it. I'm sort of thinking, let me pull this up. Main monitor, yeah. So this is someone's build found on the Enshrouded Discord. It needs to be at least this big. So it needs some, I mean, this is built into the mountainside, but I mean, I'm going to have some flying area around it. And then instead of blue luminescent water blocks, it'll be the luminescent growth corruption. But in some way, shape, or form, it needs to be probably this big. Otherwise, it's like not going to be very interesting of a castle. And it needs to compete with the rest of the stuff I build. Since this is like the main thing, it needs to be big enough. Bigger. I mean, that castle's pretty big. That's the thing we have to remember here, is that this is just one part of a much larger build. But proportionately, it needs to fit this place. And it's like, this is a decent amount of room. Elden Ring big? Yikes. Scary. It's close. I may need to come out and about that way, maybe. I mean, it kind of works since I'm already naturally kind of creating this tiered for this whole thing to work. It makes sense for this to just be part of the thing that's ripped out of the ground, honestly. So it might make sense to sort of bring it out to this area, and then it doesn't, the nice thing is it doesn't need to be even bigger. The nice thing is that the castle and the land that are like being ripped out of the ground don't necessarily need to match the exact same shape. Like I have it's a horrible image. So it's super pixelated, but I found this image of this cool castle and it's ripping out of the ground, and it just has a, like peninsula, I guess is the best way to describe it, that would maybe come out here with a big tree on the peninsula. So like maybe there was a tree and it's ripped out of the ground, and then I could try to create like root effects or something and hanging out of it. There's a lot of cool, interesting things I could do. So I want an interesting piece of ground being ripped out, because I want to do a lot of, like, unlike the image that we were just looking at, they essentially have a piece of land and they have taken every inch of it except for like the central little courtyard. And I think I want a little bit more than that. I think I want some extra land ripped out so it sort of looks, so we have some like more courtyard space. We have a little bit of stuff to mess with and make look interesting. Do different tiers, like, and then I'm trying to figure out mentally in my head as well. Ouch. Where's my torch? I'm on my phone, so it's probably not that blurry for me. It's a horrible image that I'm looking at. It's more of just to give an idea on that one, because the pixelation is so bad. I stepped out for a bit. What are we working on? Taking a break from the front entrance, and I was starting the terraforming process for the castle that's going up here. So the idea being, it's being ripped out of the ground. The blue luminescent growth is going to be, what? That rank looks weird. Climbing up the hillside here, and then it'll be sort of, sorry, it's really hard to see because it's so dark. Can I stop killing myself? Jeez. And then you'll sort of see all of this is like very similar to how the crypt area looks. So it'll have all these different veins of luminous growth coming out of it, and then the veins will, some, if I can get it to look right, some of it might still be connected to the land being ripped out. That's being like actually ripped out of the ground. If it doesn't look good, then it will just be climbing it separately, essentially. Just kind of depends on what looks good and what doesn't. Okay, I was just about to say, I have night set to as low as possible. I can just build all the time. But the struggle is figuring out how big this is going to feasibly be. Because it both feels, it's got to fit the ground underneath it, and that doesn't mean we can't terraform more of this. But it has to fit with a natural environment. I think that's going to be the biggest challenge here, is making this look like an actual floating, an island that was literally ripped out of the ground. Not just a floating island, but like this was physically like a giant grabbed it and ripped it out of the ground. Is going to be is absolutely the most difficult part. And then originally I was sort of thinking staircase comes down here. Now that this space is all taken up, I'm kind of thinking that the castle is probably going to be oriented this way. Probably makes the most sense to me as well. That'll give us the most depth, whereas like this side we'd use all stairs. And here, since I don't really have any plan for the city, and I think there's probably more than enough room looking, oh no, probably more than enough room to build all the houses and stuff in this whole area. I think I'm also going to do houses like in the hillside and stuff if I can figure it out. But I think the front of the castle is going to face this way. Since if this is the main entrance, it kind of makes sense, and almost using this stair. And then the idea being, now that they have the decay tool, that's going to really help this whole process. Because I wanted a set of stairs, and then I wanted it to be like ripped. So there's like a staircase going to nowhere now. And then I'm not really sure how we make an entrance to the castle since it's floating. That'll be an interesting one. I figure out that logistically. What do you think of rings connected with bridges and such? Different elevations leaving imprint of rings? I'm gonna have to see an image of what you're saying. I'm not sure if I quite understand the idea. Like, my brain just immediately thinks of like the Jetsons spaceships with like the concentric rings or whatever. But I don't really know how rings and bridges are working in the way you're saying. I'm trying to picture it. Elevations, the imprints of rings. I'm not sure I'm picturing properly. If I have time, I will try and draw something for you. That'd be awesome. It's like the hardest thing for me is I'm such a visual person that like it has nothing to do with any of you guys. I am just so visual that when I can't see it, if I can't picture it in my head, it means nothing. That's the hardest thing, is like reading text and understanding an idea from someone else's words. Knew I was going to regret using stone. Like, it'll eventually be stone, but I'm making this project exponentially more annoying because every time I make a mistake, I'm going to have to delete this in a more annoying way. And then I was thinking there was going to be like a mountain spring or something. So like some water coming out of here and tearing down all the way into here. And then this was going to be a lake of a little pond, I guess is probably more so. I think it'd be really cool to still figure out how to do that. It's going to be interesting though, because then it's going to be like combined with the luminous growth and it'll be infecting that. So then I was like, well, maybe it starts infecting this. Maybe this becomes less just water and more infection. But it's gonna be interesting. You heard it here, chat. Your ideas are nothing. Yes. You guys are worthless. I'm the smart one here. You are all peasants. So what are you compared to the chosen one? Definitely, I guess a lot of this will come with terrain work. This is going to be a freaking project, man. I think it's going to be really cool once I get the floating island itself kind of shaped and working, but man, this is going to be tough. In order to just see, like, because my brain is already looking at this and going like, all right, well, this looks like it's ripped out of the ground a good 80 feet or more. Like, that's really high. But then on the back end, it's touching the back end of it. It'll be really interesting. I'm actually really glad. I just was bored when I made this. Now I'm really glad that I made this. Without this, this would be super frustrating. But to be able to just jump up and look at this, that actually worked out really well. It wasn't a waste of time, yes. I mean, it feels so natural for this to just go here. Like, that is, although it's a basic ugly staircase, like, that essentially feels exactly where that staircase wants to be. Or maybe off to the side, we'll center it a little bit better, but it feels quite good. I threw a Pinterest image up for you in Discord. It's kind of like what I thought. Love me some Pinterest, you know? Oh, so like the sides. Interesting. Could be interesting. Struggle is figuring out logistically how to make it all work and still be cool. I think it's definitely a balance. I'm gonna have to like core this out more, I think, to make this the right size. I don't feel like I go any smaller than what I'm currently looking at. It could be like sort of an L-shaped castle, or not, a U-shaped castle in some way. Also looking at one that sort of has this like central water feature, but almost not like the one we were looking at earlier, where it's like in a courtyard, but it's almost like coming out of the front of the castle, which could be really interesting. There's just so many ideas running through my head right now. I'm just going to have to spend some time off stream doing some of this terrain work, getting it to like visually make sense in my head. Because like the floating effect is, if you think this is the top level here, like we're ripped out of the ground a good, that's a decent, I mean we're an entire tree out of the ground here. You don't get what? What part? If this comes in like steps and more, steps and more, steps and more. Dang it. Oh no! Did. You just let me know what part you're not getting. I'll explain it. Don't you worry. It'll look good there. This side doesn't necessarily need to look as ripped since it's the back. So it's probably not the end of the world, but if it's gonna need a little bit of a gap, or else it's just gonna be like, really? You had part of it rip? You had a waterfall that has become corrupted pouring down on the town. Yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking as I'm looking at this one, especially it's the same one that I showed earlier too. It has a courtyard with a water feature that's falling down. I'm kind of thinking of that same concept. I actually am looking at another, let's show these off. This image as well. I just love this water feature that's coming down. So my initial instinct is like, how cool would this be to be like luminous growth, just like cascading off essentially. So like, and my justification for it is that essentially this all got corrupted. And so the corruption's already there. And then the corruption is what like rips it out of the ground. And takes it over completely essentially. And so having these leftover remnants and stuff will be sort of interesting to toy with. Not sure if I'll be able to do it to like that degree. Oh, you don't understand the rings and stuff? I didn't at first either. Oh, okay. So as I'm understanding it, get this image. Come here. So this is what Joe sent. OBS go. Good. Yeah. So the way at least I'm thinking of what he was saying is that, so I'm thinking of this as sort of my ripped out of the ground area. And so it has, I don't know, maybe some details like that, but then it has bridges going across. Could have different parts as well. Could be interesting. Like another aspect, like I was saying, the, if, like, it'd probably be a good spot over here to think of. I could do like a land bridge almost in an area like this where like a part of it came out and there's lovely, like out in one area. And so maybe there's like one of these two trees got ripped up with it. And so you get some like things like that. Do some weird aspects, I guess. It's hard to explain exactly what I'm thinking, but eat that. Dying. But it also could be like there could be a place where like a bridge. There's not necessarily a great spot here, but like if there was actually a bridge built on one of these, theoretically, I could make actual bridges and stuff. I don't know, there's just so many options. That's the struggle, is there's so many ideas running through my head. So like, and I don't think any of them are necessarily right or wrong. It's just kind of like, I'm going to have to get the basic shape of this done, and then the details are going to come from like, all right, let's add some more land here, subtract a little land there. That would be a perfect spot for a tree to go, like looking at this other image I'm looking at. That one, let's see. Like this is the other, oh, dang it. Where'd it go? This is the really pixelated one. as I said, to like do a piece of land that was ripped out a little more and there's like a tree in it or something. That could also be like this individual tree, or like the tree in Lord of the Rings for Gondor, and like it's getting corrupted too, potentially. But I have no clue. I mean, if you're looking at this, like, what is this castle? I don't know, but there's something really appealing about thinking like this is ripping out of the ground, and some part of this like big spire has a water feature that is just Shroud now, or luminous growth. But I also thought the coloring was really perfect. So I liked this one because I was like, I could picture the Shroud kind of in luminous growth, taking these pieces over and taking over a tree and just having these interesting little details, and how cool this would look with like the Shroud that I already have done kind of like snaking its way up in the corruption and then taking over a little pond of some kind. So like maybe I design out a pond here, and that's what's ripped out of this front area. I could treat this as if this is where it's ripping out of the ground. That might be the right level to do it. Get rid of all of this. That way I have out to like literally here. I almost need to just delete all of this now, so I have a better open space to mess with. Not sure how to explain the rings with words. Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand what you're thinking. The hard part is like it's only gonna be, I guess I'm also looking at Harley would like it, the Castlevania castle, which has all these it's castle, and then it's got like floating and stuff. So it's got these crazy bridges that go out to like these towers that are like literally like if you have this one massive tower and then there's just like a big bridge and then another like tower cantilevered out, and those looked really cool too. So it's this decision of like, what is the styling? What is the scale of this whole thing? I think it might get a little crazy with the bridge idea, so I might simplify a little bit and try to focus more on just creating a cool tower of some kind. But it's a tough decision. It's hard to figure out exactly what. Never thought it was pixelated. Could there be a dried riverbed that's dappled with Shroud? Yeah, something like that. I mean, that's what originally I had an idea for making water come all the way down. That's where that whole thing is it coming? It's coming up here. And so it's possible that, oh geez, almost died. It's possible it comes down here and like this was water. There could be multiple water sources. I really like the idea of the water, and so it would naturally kind of lend itself into the water got corrupted and now it's the luminous growth. So it looks really interesting, but it's just kind of deciding how these water features like work is going to be the big thing. We'll see. You want to have more land than castle ripped up, or some of the castle left behind? I'm kind of thinking that the whole castle is going to get ripped up, but I think there's going to want to be some remnants of it. I mean, what I kind of like about this spot specifically is that if I was building a massive castle, I would probably lean directly like into the idea of this castle on a hill by itself as its own sort of, I feel like it's a very common design theme. You pick the most prominent spot and you build the main structure there. What's up, Super Tigro? How's it going? I like the left behind idea. Yeah, I think there's something there. I just don't know what is the key. What gets left behind? What is it like? I want the majority of the castle itself to be ripped up with it, but if I could leave like, the struggle's like, yeah, what do you leave behind? Is it like walls? You leave behind an entire tower? What's up, Bloody Panther? Welcome in. You're having a good night. It's a tough design question because it's like so, there's no right or wrong for it. It's just like, what is going to be the most epic looking structure I can possibly build. So I definitely want sort of one main kind of central castle that starts big and then slowly kind of tapers to a more point. But then, like, yeah, well, I mean, is there walls that go around it? Because there's walls that are going to be going around this whole thing. But it could be like because there's going to have to be something, like there'll be walkways that maybe go down to these areas, and there's like, I'll have to look at like typical pieces of castles. So like, what are some of the things you would have around the main castle if you had a city? The barracks, those random things. Like maybe there's the barracks goes here, and like it ripped out like the main walkway. Maybe that's where some of those bridges, like there's half a bridge hanging off the edge of this thing, and the other half of the bridge is below it, like torn apart. And so you have these like really interesting high and low spots. There's so many interesting ideas with this that I'm like that are going through my head. But yeah, you could do buttresses, like flying buttresses that get left behind, the same sort of thing as like bridges and stuff. It's just there's a lot. So I kind of have to come up with the design of the castle itself, the general idea, and then I'm gonna have to find a way to do a layout of this, and like, because that's my biggest struggle right now is creating a cool castle, but I also like it. I want it to feel like a really good, well-designed interior as well. I don't want it to just be like, here's a big old room and there's nothing actually happening. Like, I want cool staircases, and I want the whole thing to be sort of filled and designed out. So I'm going to have to put a lot of thought into this. It's going to be a slow project, but I think it's going to be freaking insane. You leave behind a tower, that could be a good way to get up to the castle. That's actually really smart. Sort of a design decision that solves the biggest issue with my design. Start writing these ideas or they'll be gone, just like your idea earlier. And the poor groundskeeper shack gets split in two. Yeah, like those sort of moments I think would be freaking awesome. Those exact moments where just some of the random little things, like maybe there's a graveyard, like for part of it, and like part of the graveyard's ripped open and you can see the crypts and stuff underneath. Like, I guess the whole thing underneath here is crypts, but like maybe because I was thinking of at some point tunneling this out and building under here as well. So it could be another way to like continue this whole story is like, this is the main crypt for the main people in the city, and then like there's a specialty one under there, and that is what's getting attacked essentially by the shroud taking over. There's so many ideas. Power. Yeah, the Grave of Kings. Yeah, exactly. Kind of what I'm thinking of it as, because the whole idea is that this whole thing and everything underneath it is also going to be tunneled out, and there's going to be a big the upper portion is going to be a big library. I'm going to flatten this out a little bit and build some kind of cool library, and then you'll go down through some interesting staircase of some kind, and there will be a museum with all the random different pieces, the fossils and hollow halls, trinkets, and the head mounts and all that random stuff. Buried treasure instead of a grave. You can do a cool effect. It could be actually, instead of a grave, dude, what if it's the treasure room and part of the treasure all got left? That'd be really cool. That'd be really... Thinking about making the Mines of Moria from Lord of the Rings and Enshrouded? Definitely. it's the perfect game for it. Like if that's something you're interested in, as I don't know if you've seen much of my base, Panther, but as of right now, we're working on building a city in this area, but as of right now, all I've really built is a mine area. So I've got this whole area dug out, and I'm turning it into sort of a dwarven smith forging space of some kind. Yeah, the treasure idea, that is XYZ. That's an insane idea, because you can use the bronze block. Let's do it real quick. Oops, well, that was a fail. Especially with the new decay tool, because you can make this, if you make stacks of this isn't looking very good. I haven't messed with it much. If you do smaller detailed pieces, it looks like a stack of like treasure, essentially. I've seen a handful of people do it. Looks really cool. So once you get to the once you get all this just like random overlapping and stuff, you get this like really interesting like treasure effect. It almost looks like a big pile of gold. And then you add in some of the bronze cups and plates and all that stuff, and you get this really like, it looks kind of like in Lord of the Rings or whatever, when there's like the Desolation of Smaug, or in The Hobbit, sorry. There's like this massive pile of coins and stuff, so you could do this really cool effect. And it could almost be like a, because you essentially have to think of this stuff as like a moment in time, is what I'm capturing. Like you can't have like an active flow of anything. So you could create it in a way that it has like literally looks like there's coins or treasure of some kind like flowing out of this base, which could be really cool. Polished granite. And so like some of the part wherever the treasure room ends up, you could get that effect where like half the treasure room like is ripped in half or something, and so you then have like literal treasure falling between the two builds. That could be really cool. There are the silver chests you can make now. Yeah, those would look really good. And a fancy sword. You could do all sorts of cool stuff. There's some really good decor pieces for these exact things. I'm getting really excited about this. These are a lot of really good ideas. The execution part is where my brain is like ambitious. Maybe not definitely not the biggest build Enshrouded has ever seen by any means, but I think it's a very ambitious, fun project. I think it's going to look really cool once we get all these ideas implemented and make it look good. It's going to be really, really interesting doing that. There's the left behind features and all the little things here and there. And then I want the plan to be like, this is my main crafting and base and stuff. But I want them all to be sort of interconnected by secret tunnels and secret areas. So there'll be tunnels that go from here over into the museum, so you can get into there. There'll be tunnels that go over here to like the treasury room. So I could make like a vault room in here that goes to the treasury room, but then it like opens, and it just opens to nothing. Like it opens to an exploded ground or something. That'd be really cool. These are flowing. It is logistically a massive build, yeah. Size-wise, there's castles that have been insane, much bigger than what I've done. There's someone that built a castle over the entire thing here. Like the entire Mistberry Catacombs is a castle. And that's great. But I like the idea of the city, the scale of a city slightly better. It's a small little affluent town. I kind of am thinking of it as like Moria in many ways, or not Moria, the Erebor. Like essentially you have this like dwarven thing, they've gone down, they've mined out and gotten all these resources and stuff, and they have this perfectly, which is why I loved this area in the first place. It's like the Lonely Mountain, like it's totally on its own. It's perfectly fortified for a city to go like to be in. So it's like the perfect fortified city already. So it just feels perfect to make it a city and not just like one big thing. It'll be fun. I think it'll be really fun. Haven't seen those trampoline things before. Yeah, they added the trampolines. It would have been like that. Maybe the Blackmire update, I think. They added the bounce stuff when they added this area. That's how you get up like the spire and stuff, is you can like bounce, but that's more they're like flower things or something. I don't even remember where the trampolines are from. But they have regular and high bounce ones. And this was my attempt at making a bounce elevator. So I just angle them with the new tool features that they have. You couldn't do this until this most recent update. Yeah, Blackmire. Okay, that's what I thought. You couldn't do the rotation trick till this most recent update, so I tried doing this before, but since the trampolines were flat, you had to like jump on the first one, so it just didn't work the way I wanted it to, so I kind of gave up. And then they added the ability to rotate them, and I was like, well, that'd be kind of a fun trick, and then it's worked out pretty well for being able to see the rest of this. Been good. The VUCA make them for the large trees. Yeah, that's what it is. I haven't actually played any of the game or story in weeks now. Like I finished all the Albany Heights stuff and I haven't like even touched any of it. I've just been building for so long now. I just forget everything. But I'm going to do a more efficient form. This is just my first take on it. I think I can squeeze it together a little bit and make it not as maybe more of a square, and hopefully it'll be in a perfect world, I would make it sort of like how Mario would wall jump off of things. And so the hope would be you step on one bounce pad and you just trampoline yourself without actually having to even touch it, like a button. Because currently you have to like manually kind of move yourself back and forth to get to them. So, because eventually that's what's going to go in this, down this whole thing to the very, very bottom, so I can bounce all the way to the top without having to like just TP and stuff. There's a lot of ideas going. This is good. Thank you for all the help. I appreciate it. Wish we could make the flower ones. Those would be sick too. I would love the ability to make some more of the like organic stuff in the game as well. Maybe with terrain and more decor as time goes. Those would be great additions. But yeah, I appreciate everyone helping out tonight. It was the ideas are flowing. I love getting other people's perspectives. That's why I really enjoy these streams specifically for building. Just because, like, where else do you get to hang out and talk with people, talk through ideas? My ideas inspire other ideas. Other people's ideas inspire my ideas. Hopefully, through these conversations, people can get inspired about things for their own builds as well, and not just watch me. Because I've seen some pretty sick stuff already in the Discord. If anyone, not the right link. If anyone here is not a part of my Discord, definitely join that. Awesome place. We've got some pretty good builders in there. Lots of people bouncing off ideas off each other and helping each other build things. So trying to build an amazing builders community. And it's like, I think my best builds all come from the fact that the community gets to give input and ideas to help like take everything to the next level, and then the hope is that I can reciprocate that and help them take their ideas to the next level, and we all just build bigger and better things and more interesting things. And when I come up with ideas that the trampolines, people can take ideas like that and use them their own ways, and we all just kind of find different ways to break the game and push the building mechanics to their absolute limits is the goal. But other than that, I think I'm going to call it here. I appreciate everyone hanging out tonight. It was a lot of fun. We definitely got a lot of good ideas. Didn't necessarily get a huge amount built, but I think it's a great example of what it takes to build these massive bases. Is you really have to put a lot of thought into the ideas that go behind them before you just start building stuff all over the place. So it gives a good insight into my thought processes and how I look at these things. Because oftentimes when I'm not streaming, I'm just doing exactly what we just did for the last 45 minutes, just like jumping around the base going, huh, that's a good idea. Ooh, this is a good idea. That's an interesting thing to add or change. So I just get to do it live now is the cool part. But yeah, it's 11:20, so I'm going to call it here. I appreciate everyone hanging out. Hope you guys have a great rest of your night. It is Wednesday already? Yeah, geez. So I will be back Friday, right around 7:30 to 8:30 p.m. Pacific Standard Time is when I'll get started. Seems to be more consistent, and I'll probably stream a little bit later. I've actually been really enjoying going a little later than normal. I normally stop at 11, and I've been going till 11:30 or later. So I would expect Friday to be a great building day. I'm going to spend all evening tomorrow game planning this entire thing, trying to get the ideas going, see if we can get to a point where maybe we can start digging out ground and really getting a good start on this. So I think Friday is going to be a fun stream. Friday's busy, so might not catch stream until Monday. No worries, no worries. Hopefully, when you come back Monday, we have a massive start to this. It is Valentine's Day, but I'll be going out with my wife earlier. We also don't do a whole lot. We can't really take our kid anywhere. So my wife doesn't have a huge desire to take our kid on a date, and our parents are both busy, so we'll probably order in and watch a movie or something, do something chill. Won't be anything too crazy. But I appreciate everyone hanging out. I will catch y'all Friday.